It became one of the most disastrous crashes in the aviation industry, with only one survivor, killing more than 140 people. Air India Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner crash shortly after takeoff from Ahmedabad Airport will leave a long mark as one of the worst aircraft crashes in aviation history. Investigations are being carried out to determine what caused the crash and why. How the Air India crash investigation is unfolding on Adam's Aviation channel. Less than 40 seconds. That's how long Air India Flight 171 was airborne before it plunged into a densely populated neighborhood in Ahmedabad in one of India's most baffling aviation disasters in history. In the afternoon of Thursday, June 12, 2025, what seemed to be a normal day at Ahmedabad Airport turned out to be a fateful day at 13:38 IST when Air India Flight 171 on an international flight from Ahmedabad Airport to London Gatwick Airport crashed into the hostel block of BJ Medical College in the Meghaninagar neighbourhood of Ahmedabad in Gujarat state of India shortly after takeoff. Investigators are now facing the grim task of sifting through the wreckage and decoding the cockpit voice and flight data recorders of the Boeing 787 Dreamliner to piece together what went catastrophically wrong in the seconds after takeoff. Under international rules set by the UN aviation body ICAO, a preliminary investigation report should be released within 30 days, with the final report ideally completed within 12 months. The London Gatwick-bound aircraft, piloted by Captain Sumit Sabharwal and co-pilot Clive Kunder, lifted off from the western Indian city of Ahmedabad at 13:38 local time or 8:09 Greenwich Mean Time on Thursday, with 242 people and nearly 100 tons of fuel on board. Within moments, a mayday call crackled from the cockpit. It would be the last transmission. This was followed by a loss of altitude and a crash engulfed in flames. Captain Kishore Shinta, a former investigator with India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, AAIB, calls this the rarest of the rare crashes, a controlled flight into terrain just 30 seconds after takeoff. To my knowledge, nothing quite like this has ever happened. Big questions have arisen about what Tammy caused the crash. Did both engines fail due to bird strikes or fuel contamination? Were the flaps improperly extended, reducing lift on a heavily loaded jet in extreme heat? Was there a maintenance error during engine servicing? Or did an inadvertent crew action cut off fuel to both engines? Or was it a suicidal action or a terrorist-intended activity? Investigators will be probing all these possibilities and more. Air crash investigations rely on triangulation and elimination, matching physical evidence from the wreckage with recorded aircraft performance data to build a coherent picture of what went wrong with the flight. Every scorched cable, damaged turbine blade, aeroplane maintenance log, and signals and sounds from the flight data and cockpit voice recorders, the so-called black box, will be examined during this investigation. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and share this video, and remember to leave a comment or two. Critically, the first clues on the ground may come from the wreckage of the two engines, at least 3 of the investigators said. You can tell from the damage whether the engines were generating power at impact. Turbines fracture differently when spinning at high speed. That's the first clue to what went wrong, says Peter Goals, a former managing director of US's National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB. Turbines are crucial rotating components that play a key role in extracting energy to generate thrust. If the engines weren't producing power, investigators have a serious case on their hands and the focus will shift sharply to the cockpit. What happened in the cockpit will be revealed by the Boeing 787's Enhanced Airborne Flight Recorders, EAFRs, or the black boxes, which, investigators say, will help tell the story. Indian officials say the recorders have been recovered from the crash site. These devices capture extensive flight data and cockpit audio from pilot radio calls to ambient cockpit sounds. Voice recordings come from individual pilot mics, radio transmissions, and an area microphone that picks up background noise in the cockpit. Data recorders track with high precision the position of gear and flap levers, thrust settings, engine performance, fuel flow and even fire handle activation. If the flight data recorder shows the engines were making full power, then the attention will move to the flaps and slats. If they are found to be extended as needed, then it becomes a very difficult investigation, says Mr. Goals. Flaps and slats increase lift at lower speeds, helping an aircraft take off and land safely by allowing it to fly slower without stalling. If the trail leads to a problem in the flight management control system, that would raise serious concerns not just for Boeing, but for the entire aviation industry. The Boeing 787's flight management control system is a highly automated suite that manages navigation, performance, and guidance. It integrates data from a number of sensors to optimize the aircraft's flight path and fuel efficiency. With over 1,100 Boeing 787s flying worldwide since 2011, investigators must determine whether this was a systemic issue that could affect the global fleet or a one-off failure unique to this flight, experts say. If it points to a system problem, then the regulatory bodies have to make some tough decisions very quickly, says Mr. Goals. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and share this video and remember to leave a comment or two. So far, there is no indication of fault on anyone's part. India's Civil Aviation Ministry said on Tuesday that a recent inspection of Air India's Boeing 787 fleet, 24 of 33 aircraft had been checked so far, did not reveal any major safety concern, adding that the planes and maintenance systems complied with existing standards. Boeing President and CEO Kelly Ortberg said on June 12, Boeing will defer to India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, AAIB, for information on Air India Flight 171, in line with UNICAO protocol. Decoding of the data at the AAIB lab in Delhi will be led by Indian investigators, with experts from Boeing, engine maker GE, Air India, and Indian regulators. Investigators from the NTSB and UK will also be participating. In my experience, teams can usually determine what happened fairly quickly, but understanding why it happened can take much longer, Mr. Goals says. The wreckage may yield other clues. Every part, wire, nut, bolt will be meticulously collected, says Mr. Shinta. Typically, the wreckage is moved to a nearby hangar or secure facility, laid out to identify the nose, tail, and wingtips, and then pieced together. In this case, depending on what the flight data and voice recorders reveal, a full reconstruction may not be necessary, investigators say. The importance of wreckage varies by accident, say investigators. For Malaysia Airlines flight MH17, shot down over eastern Ukraine in July 2014, it was crucial reconstruction of the nose revealed clear shrapnel damage from a Russia-made missile. In the wreckage, investigators will also examine fuel filters, lines, valves and residual fuel to check for contamination, something that's easy to detect or rule out. Investigators will gather maintenance and fault history records from the airline and Boeing's aircraft communications addressing and reporting system, which transmits data via radio or satellite to both Boeing and Air India, says Mr. Shinta. They will review all flights operated by the aircraft and the crew over recent months, along with the technical log of pilot-reported faults and corrective actions taken before release of aircraft to service. Investigators will also examine pilot licenses, training records, simulator performance, and instructor remarks, including how pilots handled scenarios like engine failures in advanced flight simulators. Investigators will review the service history of all components of the aircraft that were removed and replaced, examining reported defects for any recurring issues or signs of problems that could have affected this flight. These investigations are extraordinarily complex. They take time, but there will be early indicators of what likely went wrong, says Mr. Goals. So we keep information what next. The entire team will deliver about Air India Flight 171, which crashes a few seconds after takeoff from Ahmedabad Airport on its route to Gatwick Airport, London. Thanks for watching. Like and share this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the notification button to keep notified about our other amazing videos. See you in our next video.